Hey everyone, it's Pete Carmasino with Chaikin Analytics, and this is Stock Spotlight. Today's stock is SFIX. So let's get right to the chart. A few things to note right away. Obviously, the stock is down about 28% or more in one day. They did beat estimates. I mean, estimates for a loss, and it's green. It's showing because they did 2 cents better. You can see here, if you look at the estimates, it beat by 2 cents. However, guidance was pretty bad. So Wall Street and investors are not happy. A few things to note. Over the course of last year, the stock has moved from the mid 20s all the way up to the 110, 114 range in just a matter of months. And that's attributed to obviously the pandemic, the lockdowns, people shopping from home. This name, as well as many others in this particular industry, got a boost of revenue, sales, and just opportunity. Really, is what they had really moved on. The market liked it. The relative strength was there. The money flow was there. The stock was moving above trend, even missing earnings by pretty large numbers here in June and here in September. But what was happening was obviously the guidance was better, and it probably did really well here, right? I mean, it beat by 23 cents and with an actual positive earnings. So the stock was rewarded and investors were rewarded. But if you look at what happened, the relative strength stayed, the trend was moving higher, but all the while we were neutral, in some cases bearish, neutral negative. You can see by this, the yellow box with the red line down the bottom is a neutral stock that has bearish fundamentals. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've got a 20-factor model. We'll look at these 4 categories. Each category has its own sub-factors, and we take these into consideration every day. And what do? We weigh them to create this particular rating on the name. Now, if you look at this, you can view this as sort of a report card on fundamentals. You can even look at it as a resume. The analogy I'm using today as a resume is, look, you're basically looking through candidates to put in to hire inside of your account, so to speak, right? So you want to find the best ones. Now, SFIX wasn't really highly rated. However, on a technical basis, you could see why you might have wanted exposure to it. But on these earnings, when you're coming into a situation where you're starting to see a breakdown, on the last earnings, you didn't see this, but here you saw we were overbought with relative strength really weakening. And you see a series of lower highs on a technical basis, and also lower lows. So you're seeing sort of channel being built where the name is just having some trouble getting through, and it sort of migrates back to this long-term trend line. It's almost got a magnetic force around it, right? The stocks seem to kind of get back to these trend lines. But on today's earnings, obviously it fell short. And so when you look at what we're doing here at Chaikin, our users were able to kind of look at this, decipher this, kind of look at it. And if you're not sure as a Chaikin member, right, we have a little checklist. You can take a look and you can see that really nothing is adding up green except for the long-term trend. And that had benefited potentially from a thematic play, from the particular outlook that they were and guidance they were giving in these last 2 earnings reports. But in general, the name had some fundamental issues. And the technicals were strong up until recently, right? And this is what happens when these stocks roll over. You can start to see even the analyst rating trend was potentially a little too bullish. So they just didn't account for, obviously, some of the things that's in the release. And you can go to their website. There's plenty of articles you can go read to see what happened here on SFIX and what they were saying about their guidance. But at the end of the day, we really have the chart, the fundamentals, the technicals, and all of these attributes to kind of help us through. So as a Chaikin member, you would get training on how to use this. You can learn how to screen for names like this, how to avoid names like this, and potentially find better names in this particular industry. So if you want to take Chaikin for a test drive, come and do it for 14 days. Go to chaikinanalytics.com/stock spotlight and get your 14-day free trial. You'll get all the access that a typical member gets. You get our newsletters, you get all the tutorials, and you'll even get some support calls one-on-one with our client success team that can help you walk through some of the features and how to use them pretty quickly. I hope you'll join us again, chaikinanalytics.com/stock spotlight. Thanks again. Talk to you soon.